I'm Cape Joel, and this is Comic Smack, your weekly daily all the time, anytime comic show where I give you your fix, everything you need to know from the world of comic books and superheroes. And on today's show, we are taking a closer look at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 791. The more things change, the more they stay the same for Peter Parker. What next curveball will life throw his way? Well, let's hop on in together and find out, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the comic, Spidey and Mockingbird are mopping up a bunch of thugs down at the docks. So, you know, basically just an average night in New York City when you're part of the spandex crowd. Peter is getting a little nervous and apprehensive because tomorrow morning he starts his job as the new editor for the science section of the Daily Bugle. Bobby's happy to finally see Pete get out of her house and off her couch for a little bit, especially as he's getting kind of weird and distant right now, choosing to spend more and more time as Spider-Man and less as Peter Parker. And while the Bugle may still have a warm, nostalgic feeling for Peter Parker, it's not without its own hurdles, mainly that his new staff of writers aren't exactly fond of him, seeing him as a failed businessman who levered his relationship with Robbie to get hired. And I mean, that's completely untrue. Peter isn't a pity hire. Well, okay, he's like 50% a pity hire. But Pete is trying to shake this by getting a big story his first day on the job, and lucky for him, after the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., Mockingbird took a job as head of security for a big new tech startup. The guy running this place is a dude named Xander Zim, and with a name like that, he might as well have a giant neon sign hanging over his head that says, "Hello, I'm a supervillain." Zim's big product claim to fame is a bunch of very human-like tiny robots who he hopes to use to improve people's lives. Only when one of Pete's new journalist buddies tries to get a closer look at the tiny robot and open it up, it freaks out and almost kills him. Feeling that something is almost certainly rotten in the state of Denmark, Spider-Man and Mockingbird decide to go back to the business later that night to look for clues. What they end up finding is a massive AI computer, not unlike the technology Dr. Octopus used to overwrite Peter Parker's mind with his own. These robots just aren't brilliant, they're literally people's minds that have been stolen. Or more specifically, one person's mind that's been stolen over and over again. Peter riddles out that the fancy silicon cores that Zim was talking about must be at the root of this, and wouldn't you know it, he's 100% right. Silicon is sand after all, and Marvel is filled with sand-themed villains. But no, this isn't the Sandman we're talking about here. It's Quicksand, an old Thor villainous. Man, you know, I always liked the design of this character. If I ever built my own Thunderbolts team, I would totally put Quicksand on it. Zin had been crystallizing small pieces of quicksand and putting them in his tiny robots to make it appear like they were smarter than they were. He's caught with his pants down and as such decides to flee the country. No doubt to return as a thorn in our hero's side later. Speaking of our hero, Spider-Man saved the day and got a great story for the Bugle, but he also cost Bobby her new job. Oof, that might really hurt their relationship if they were dating and not just casually living together and occasionally banging. Man, how bohemian, how 2017. As the comic winds down, Pete gets a nice pat on the back from Robbie. He feels that even though a lot of stuff might be crazy in his life right now, he always has and always will have a home at the Daily Bugle. So that was Spider-Man, everybody, and overall, if I had to sum up this issue in one word, it would be pleasant. This new era of Spider-Man isn't exactly breaking new ground or anything, but it gets the job done. Perhaps what I enjoy more than just about anything about the current Marvel legacy Spider-Man is that all of these stories we've read have been self-contained, one-and-done tales with more hooks into bigger overarching stories. This is good because my biggest complaint about the last couple big Dan Slott Spider-Man stories is just how they drug on forever and ever with no real beginning, middle, or end. I like the stuff with Spider-Man and Mockingbird, how no one is really sure what their relationship is right now, not the least of which them. There's also some fun stuff on the side about Harry becoming the new head of acquisitions for Alchemax right around the same time people are taking blood from his kids. Could go somewhere cool. Overall, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. Not gonna change your life, but I dug it for what it was worth. So that's Spider-Man, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, why not check out some of these other videos I have available from the channel. Then you can follow me on Twitter at CapeJoel. And if you like what I do and are feeling in a supportive mood, I have a Patreon link down in the description. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and they can do so for as little as $1 a month. So until next time, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching.